Hello and welcome back. Okay, let's continue this discussion about the different genres of cryptocurrency coins. Another type of cryptocurrency coin getting a lot of attention today are NFTs. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and fungible is a needlessly uncommon word to say interchangeable. So what does that mean? Well, an NFT is a token of very limited supply, often just a single individual token that can only be created once. An NFT token is therefore unique, or at the very least, a part of a very limited set. Let's compare that to Bitcoin. As you recall, a Bitcoin is made up of its subunits called sats. Just like there are 100 cents in a dollar, there are 100 billion sats in a Bitcoin. Now, each of those sats is identical to every other sat, in the same way as every penny in your bank account is identical to every other penny in your bank account. But NFTs are quite different from one another. NFTs are limited in number, they are indivisible, and they are unique. Well, that's all well and good, but what's the point? What can we use NFTs for? Now, the current craze is to use NFTs for digital art. I can create an image of some description. I can convert that artwork into an NFT token, which is called minting it. And then, if I wanted to, I guess I could sell it online. The NFT image then lives as data on a blockchain assigned to a wallet address. Remember, this is all Bitcoin or Ether is, just data on a blockchain assigned to a wallet address. Now, after it has been minted, the NFT cannot be edited or changed in any way. The NFT is technically unique. Now, what do I mean by technically unique? And this is another concept that can be a little mind-bending at first. Think of the NFT as a unique, one-of-a-kind container that you can fill up with data, one time and one time only. If you fill 10 NFTs with identical data, which you can do, the blockchain still considers the NFT to be unique, even if the data it contains is not. So if we minted the same piece of art 10 times as 10 NFTs, then each of those NFTs is technically one of a kind. As far as the blockchain is concerned, the blockchain sees 10 totally individual tokens. As far as a human is concerned, well, we just see 10 identical pieces of art. This is one of the two widely held misconceptions about NFTs, that a piece of digital art minted as an NFT is unique. No, it isn't. Anyone, and I mean anyone, could copy that piece of art and mint it as a new NFT without the owner's or the original artist's permission. And sadly, people do just that. The second widely held misconception about NFTs is that they track ownership. That possession of an NFT also implies legal ownership of that NFT. And let's keep using art as an example. So you will often hear people tell you that if you buy some NFT-based digital art, that you own that artwork, and your possession of the NFT is your proof of ownership. This is also not the case. Ownership is a legal concept, and possession is not the same thing legally as ownership. As an example, the state of California defines ownership as being to the exclusion of all others. If you can enjoy an item to the exclusion of others, then that item can be defined as property. In the UK, property is defined as anything that's owned by a person or entity. And I'm sure where you live, there are similar such laws on the books which define the concept of ownership. And I'm certain that no matter what they may say, they do not say that possession equals ownership. The point is, when you purchase NFT-based digital art, you are not purchasing ownership of the artwork to the exclusion of all other people. Because to do that, you'd need to purchase the copyright to the piece and be able to prove that you've done so. And simple possession of the NFT does not mean that you're now the copyright owner. So unless you've purchased the copyright to the piece and have a legal bill of sale to prove that, then you do not own the copyright to the piece, no matter what the NFT fanboy brigade on Twitter may say. At best, all you have done is purchase a non-exclusive license. Also, as you do not own the copyright, then the artist is free to create as many more NFTs of that same piece of art as he or she wants to. And as it happens, as I record this, a case has just hit the news where the owner of this NFT is now suing the original artist who decided to release multiple more copies, which of course has pushed down the value of the original NFT which the collector purchased. I suspect the collector will not win his case because, as I understand it, he never purchased copyright of this artwork. So therefore the artist is free to do as they please. So to sum up, for you to legally own the digital art you purchased, you would need a legally binding bill of sale. Simple possession of the NFT is not enough. The other thing with digital art, of course, is that it's easily copied. You may own an NFT of a particular piece, even if you own the copyright. But there is nothing stopping me from taking a screenshot of that image and using it as I wish, as long as I obey copyright laws. If I do not try to sell the image or use it commercially, then I'm unlikely to face any consequences from copying your piece of digital art. So NFTs are not one-of-a-kind artworks that you can buy on a blockchain. Now you may ask that if an NFT-based digital art means that I pay money to get a non-exclusive license to a piece of art that anyone in the world can copy if they want to, and that the original artist can reproduce at any time, then what's the point of NFT-based digital art? Honestly, it beats me. I'm not sure that if owning an artwork that anyone can copy with just a click will be attractive to art lovers for much longer once the hype dies down. I believe that this current craze of digital art-based NFTs will die off in its present form, but that some valuable use cases for NFTs will evolve and be developed over time. At the time of recording this, however, when it comes to digital art NFTs, I believe we are very much in a bubble. Now, saying that, NFTs can be used for a lot more than just digital art, and personally, I'm more interested in the following uses of NFTs. Publishing royalties. NFTs can address some of the publishing and music industry's significant admin issues. With blockchain-based proof of ownership and also blockchain-based transaction processing, then calculating artist royalty payments can be simplified to the point where both the calculation of the royalty payment and the payment itself can be automated by a smart contract. Calculating artist royalties is currently an extremely difficult process, taking multiple companies and accountants to arrive at an approximate figure, which is never 100% correct. NFTs and blockchains can disrupt and improve that process massively. Proof of ownership. NFTs can aid non-digital artists to help prove the provenance of their work. Art forgery and fraud is a substantial problem. An NFT issued as a proof of purchase tied to a real-life art piece would make it possible for any potential buyer to trace back every sale transaction that occurred with the piece in question. Yes, some form of industry-wide best practice or legal regulation would have to take place that would push the adoption of NFTs as a proof of purchase, but once NFTs are legally allowed as an ownership receipt for any type of asset, then you or I would be able to quickly sell those assets to anyone interested without the need for go-betweens. What about event tickets? I'm sure we've all known someone who has bought or almost bought a fake ticket for a concert or a sporting event. NFT-based event ticketing allows not only for the ability to prevent fraudulent ticket creation, but it can also create a fair and transparent secondary market for event tickets, where fans can resell the tickets they purchased onto other fans, and the artist or the sport team involved can receive a small commission on that resale. By pushing the ticket resale market onto a blockchain, it can be taken out of the hands of the huge re-ticketing companies that currently dominate the secondary ticketing market. Currently, ticket touts, or scalpers as they're called here in Europe, make fortunes from purchasing tickets en masse and then reselling those tickets to real fans for huge profits. Blockchain-based ticketing can put a stop to this. Tickets to sought-after events could even become tradable memorabilia items as well after the event is over. Realty? Well, an NFT-based property deed will remove much of the tedious legal and notary-based work currently associated with buying property. By issuing an NFT-based property deed, it becomes a lot easier to trade and handle the property in a fully transparent manner, completely within your own control. What about voting? NFTs can be used to vote in elections. Your voting registration card could be a blockchain-based NFT, and you control that with a private key issued to you and you alone. You could turn up at a polling booth to vote and show your ID, or simply vote from home or from your phone in a totally secure, transparent manner that cannot be faked or prevented. Virtual property in the Metaverse. Well, okay, we're going to get onto another one of those brain-melting concepts that can be quite hard to grasp at first. Have you ever played a virtual reality game or a large multiplayer online game such as Warcraft or Second Life? There are now several such games that give players the ability to purchase property and items within the game itself. So you could purchase a one-of-a-kind weapon for your character in a game, which would be an NFT. Or in a game such as Decentraland, where there is no object to the game itself, you just exist in the game environment with other people and interact with them. And that interaction is actually the whole point of the game. In games like that, you can actually buy property and build a unique house or a shop selling other NFT-based goods. Or who knows, perhaps you could open a theatre for other players to interact with and for you and other players to put on performances, which you charge cryptocurrency to attend. These purchases are made with the game's own cryptocurrency coin, and the ownership records of the things you buy are minted as NFTs. Now, buying property in a virtual reality game may sound like an incredibly obscure and strange investment, but there is precedent with one of the alternative reality games, Second Life. Second Life has been selling land to players for their own currency called Linden dollars since 2003. Games such as Decentraland have successfully launched their own cryptocurrency coin called Mana to players, and they allow players to vote on new developments for the game. These future game developments are financed from the sale of Mana tokens, and the players vote on new game developments, well, you guessed it, via a blockchain-based voting process. As odd as it may seem, to pay real money to buy virtual land in a virtual world, the Mana token currently has 5.3 billion, with a B, US dollars in tokens locked on its blockchain under the control of its players. I am told, but I currently can't find a source, that some $500 million of that total sum is used to finance the game developments that the players vote on. Mana is probably the most successful of what have become known as the Metaverse tokens. Oh, by the way, when a blockchain-based application is controlled by its users in this way, it is known as a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO. And we'll talk a lot more about DAOs and Metaverse tokens later in the course in the section on investing. Finally, I believe that personal identification will eventually be tokenized as NFTs to some extent. I am convinced that your driver's license, passport, social security card, and other similar key items of personal identity will be digitized as NFTs on a blockchain in the future. However, legislation and governments move so much slower than the pace of technology that I do not see this happening anytime soon. But once the advantages of working with blockchain-based unforgeable identity documents becomes apparent, then I believe that such change is inevitable. Okay, that's the end of the discussion about different types of cryptocurrency genres. We've looked at Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins, privacy coins and KYC, and finally NFTs. And we've briefly discussed Metaverse coins, which we will return to later in the course. As usual, if anything is unclear, please re-watch this lesson. And then, if it's still an issue, get in touch with me. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. I will see you in the next lesson, but until then, thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.